Hey guys, hopefully the test didn't go so badly for you yesterday and you guys are staying healthy and safe and wearing those masks when needed. Miss you guys so much, and we are starting into our last chapter because you're welcome. For those of you that haven't been Zooming, I took off our very hard chapter, and as you saw, I have been making your homework assignments basically 2 days or so. And I will do that here. This is going to be like our business calc chapter. So you will be using this if you take business calc. And you have actually done this chapter in Algebra 2 for the most part. We will be doing like a PERT, compounding money. This is like in banking and like when you drive a car off the lot, your car depreciates. Or if you put money into a bank account, you hope that it earns money, etc. So this lesson was basically all your Algebra 2, not all your algebra, in Algebra 2, where we learned about compounding and compounding continuously. So our first formula here is about if you are just talking about compounding interest. So this one is just for straight up I'm going to do a thicker pen, sorry. This is just straight up for compounding. Now, a PERT. How do you know when to use a PERT? That is for compounding continuously. The important word that you see is continuously. So if you see that word continuously, then you know you need to do a PERT. Okay, so the letters here mean the same thing in each one. So I'm not going to repeat myself. So A in both of them mean that it represents your final amount that you want, or you could be given your final amount. Okay, then P I might call as your principal amount, or the amount that you deposited. So it is the principal amount, or the amount you deposited into the account, or how much you maybe paid for the car, and then if we are decreasing, it decreases, or how much you put in your bank account and then it increases. Deposit. That just looks wrong, but it's right, I think. Anyway, R, very important with R. And if you get a problem wrong, it's typically due to your R. R is your, notice I skipped a letter on the other side. We'll come back to it. R is your rate. And what is so important as your rate, I will typically give it as a percentage, like 3.2%. You have to write it as a decimal. And I get that is written as a decimal. But remember, you need to move that decimal place over 2 spots. So it's really 0.032. That is what you need to put into your calculator. Now, N on this side is not on the other side. So I'm going to make these in red that are not on each other's sides. So N here. N represents the number of times it is compounded a year. So this is number of times we compound per year. Number of times it's compounded per year. That means that our time needs to be in years. So that means T has to be represented in years. So our T, again, needs to be in years. So if I tell you 1.5 or 18 months, you need to change that to 1.5 years. So T is how many years. So time in years for this one. Now, that's T on the other side as well. So the only thing that's different here is E. And E is our ln button. So this is our second ln. So this is the second ln button, as in E, as in 2.718, etc., etc., etc. That is what E is. All right, now N. What I mean by N, let's go down to here. N is the number of times it's compounded per year. So the problem will tell you, like it could be compounded annually. Annually means 1. If it says semi-annually, if I add the semi in front, semi-annually, think of those semi-annual sales like Nordstrom has. Semi-annually would mean then 2. Quarterly is used a lot. That would be 4. Weekly, how many weeks in a year? That would be 52. Monthly, we have 12 months in a year. I forgot, oh no I didn't. Daily would be 365. Daily is different than continuously. All right, so now let's read our first example. You deposit $5,000, so I'm depositing $5,000 into a savings account. So that's going to be my P. Find the balance after 5 years, that's my T for each situation. So for all of these, my P will be 5,000, my T will be 5 years. The account pays 3.25% annual interest, and it's compounded quarterly. That is my N. N equals 4. So this interest is being paid annually, which that does not deal with my N. Be careful on that. It's just saying that is my interest. So now let's use our formula. We have our A equals P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT because it didn't talk about compounding continuously. So what we have is we want to find that final amount using our A equals P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. Plug and chug what we know. We want to find that final amount. We know that we're depositing 5,000 times 1 plus RR, which is 0.0325, all divided by 4, raised to the N, which is 4, times T, which is 5. Now, once all is said and done, plug that into your calculator. Make sure you know how to plug things into your calculator. I would hit pause right now, plug it into your calculator, use your fraction key, and you should end up with $5,878.38. Yes, for money ones, if you do not round to 2 decimal places, I will take off on your test. We only have basically a test on this, or quiz. We haven't decided if it will be worth test or quiz. The next one, same given information. However, we're now telling you the rate is 3% and it's compounded yearly. Yearly would just be one time. So A equals 5,000 times 1 plus my rate is changing to 0.03 divided by, now my N is equal to 1. 1 raised to the 1 times 5. Again, I would hit pause, plug it into your calculator, make sure you get the same answer as me, round to 2 decimal places, and your final amount would be $5,796.37. All right. Now, big change of word. It says compounded continuously. Here is our rate. So we are changing formulas. This is our A PERT, P-E to the R-T. Again, we are using the same given information. So our A equals $5,000. E raised to our rate, which is 0.0275 over 5 years. Plug that into your calculator, hit pause, plug it in. Make sure you got $5,737.01. All right, continuing on. Same stuff. We are just changing what we are doing. You have, now read the words. You want to have $7,500 after 6 years. Like let's say you are wanting to save to buy a car and you want to have $7,500 after 6 years to purchase it. So that's telling me my final amount I want is $7,500. And my T is 6. Now, find the amount you should deposit. So we need to find P. What would P have to be for each? The account pays, so we know our rate. Compounded monthly, that's N equals 12. So let's plug in what we know. Our final amount, A, is $7,500 equals P times 1 plus 0.032 divided by 12 raised to the 12 times 6. Now, if I were you, you could calculate out that decimal, but I will be very picky at your rounding. You should not round to the very end. So I would almost divide everything by, you can always store it in your calculator, 1 plus that 0.032 divided by 12 raised to the 12 times 6, and divide what you do to one side, divide by the other, plus 0.032 over 12, and 12 times 6 is 72. That's gone. So P in the end will be whatever this turns out to be, which I got $6,191.38. Again, make sure you are getting the same answers. Now, let's read the next one. It says the account pays, again, the same given information. We want to have $7,500 after 6 years. But our account pays the same 3.2%, but it is compounded continuously. So we will use our A PERT. So we want to have $7,500. We don't know P. E raised to the 0.032 times my time of 6 years. So I would divide by E raised to that 0.032 times 6. Divide by E to the 0.032 times 6. Bye-bye. P would then equal whatever that is. And in that case, I got P to be $6,189.80. Again, check my work. Check for careless counting mistakes. All right, number 3. We have, what do we got here? $6,000 is invested at 4.5%. It's compounded monthly for 18 months. There is no question. I would want to know what is the final amount. So, A, we don't know. P, we know is $6,000. We know 1 plus my rate is, this is really 4.5, so 0.045. It's compounded monthly. Now it says for 18 months. Remember, your time has to be in years. 18 months is really 1.5 years. So raised to the R times T. So my rate times my N times my T, not RT, that was the last one, N times my T. Now, pause, plug that into your calculator, and you should get A to equal $6,418.17. Not too bad. All right, now this is pertaining to you guys, or I should say to me, because it's investing when a baby is born. So now, how much should be invested when a baby is born in a 3% account? So if I want to know how much should be invested, I want to know how much should I deposit in a 3% account if it's compounded quarterly, quarterly, to have a college fund of $85,000 when the child is 18. So my final amount is $85,000. So A would be $85,000 equals, we don't know P, times 1 plus my rate was 0.03 divided by, it's compounded quarterly, so 4 is my N. N equals 4 raised to the 4N times T. Well, that would be for 18 years. So I want to divide by that 1 plus 0.03 divided by 4 raised to the N times T. Divide by 1 plus 0.03 divided by 4 raised to the N times T. So in the end, hit pause. Make sure you end up with your P being about $49,633.51. Wow, that would be a lot. I definitely did not do that. All right. Final question. This is a good one. I feel like this would be a good test question. Determine the amount of interest. Okay, so we only want to know the interest. Determine the amount of interest on a $100,000 investment. So if I'm investing, that means I'm depositing at a 3.1%, so that's my rate, compounded quarterly for 10 years. So I still need to figure out my final amount. So my A equals, I deposited $100,000. That's not 100,000. I'm missing a zero. Times, 1 plus 0.031 divided by, I'm compounding quarterly, raised to the 4 times 10. Now, let's see, pause, figure out your final amount. I got $136,179.67. This here, that's my final total amount. Now, problem. I invested $100,000. So what is my interest? I need to then subtract my $100,000 from that. So then I would end up with $336,179.67. That is my interest that I earned. That would be the interest. There we go. Looks good. All right. So hopefully you'll be able to do the homework, and then we will see you on our next lesson. Any questions? Tune into Zoom. Alrighty, not many more lessons to go.